All right, so we were on a family road trip and our DVD player stopped working, which when you have 4 kids, that is a disaster. So we're about to head home, and before we do, I wanted to get this DVD player fixed. And so in this video, we're gonna talk about how to do that. First, where to get a replacement for it, best places to do that, how to take it apart and put it back together.
The biggest reason why these DVD players stop working is because there's an electronic ribbon that connects the screen to the car. With the repeated opening and closing of the screen, that ribbon can wear out. It is possible to replace the ribbon, but it's actually easier to just replace the whole unit. So let's first talk about where to get a replacement screen. There are a few different ways to go about this. You can go through a dealership or a parts supplier. At any of those, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. In my opinion, the best thing to do is to get a used part. You can try places like eBay, but the best is to try a junkyard or a vehicle salvage yard. Now, there are 2 types of junkyards. There are the ones that you call and tell them what you want, and they'll pull it out for you. This may be the best option for some because there's a lot less work involved. It's definitely safer, but I think that the best way for me is to go to a pick and pull type junkyard, a place where you can go out and pick it out yourself, and I'll explain why in just a bit. So that's what I did. I called around to a few junkyards until I found one that had my same model of car, and I went out to get it. The thing you have to realize about a junkyard is that it's not really a safe place. Be sure to wear proper clothing and protective gear, and be careful.
All right, so I'm here in the junkyard. It took me a while to find this car, but here we are. It's a bit of a mess. Oh, man. Got a wheel, but here it's a DVD system. I think this might work. You know, the benefit of coming to a junkyard is that you can actually practice on a junker car. You won't necessarily ruin your own car, but the first thing I got to do is take apart this panel right here, take it off to be able to get to that. I only have 20 minutes to do this too before the place closes, so we'll see what we can get done.
Now, to take off the panel, I'm using a screwdriver because I'm away from home and I don't have my tools. But normally I would use a trim removal toolkit like this one. The plastic is more gentle and you're far less likely to damage the paneling in your car. Other tools that would be necessary would be a set of socket wrenches and some screwdrivers, and I'll leave a link to some tools that I would recommend.
All right, it's the next day, early in the morning. I was able to get back here. I did start getting this pulled out, but didn't quite finish yesterday before the place closed. So we're gonna try and do it again. The risk that you take when you go to a place like this is that you don't know if it's gonna work for sure, but whether you're pulling it out yourself or whether you're getting it from somebody else, you know, it could be that that one's already broken, but this is a newer car than mine, and who knows how long it's been wrecked. So hopefully it works just fine. So we'll see. All right, here we go, let's pull it out. So when you're removing this upward panel, there's a few things you need to take out. There's some panels that you can just pop out, and there's some screws, some bolts and things. It's really not that difficult. You just need to find where they all are. If I remember right, there's some here in the front, there's some in the back, and there's some in the middle. So I've already taken off some of these. I need to get the one on that side, and then once that's down, I'll need to unscrew this thing here and pull out the TV itself. Okay, so I got this down. You can see there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be disconnected. If this is my own car, I would have been a little bit more careful. I'd probably take this whole thing down. So when I install it, I definitely will. But you can see here how this is attached. These screws need to be taken off. And then also there's screws on the inside that need to be undone. And that'll allow me to pull this thing out. All right, so after a bit of work, I pulled the whole thing down. And the challenge though is that I didn't bring the right screws to get these out. And so, because you need to take this panel off so you can pull out the DVD player. So I'm gonna have to take this whole thing. They may have some tools here, or I might just have to buy this whole top panel. We'll see what they say. But that's all I can do for now, so we'll see. All right, once we have the replacement part, what we need to do is take off this top panel in the car. It's held together by bolts and screws and also some fasteners. And so I'll show you how to take that out. Again, it's gonna vary depending upon the car that you have, but this one has a bolt and a screw in the front, a bolt and a screw in the back, and then 4 fasteners in the center. So let's get to it.
When you're working on anything electrical in a car, it's always a good idea to disconnect the battery first. Now, because I was able to practice on the car in the junkyard, I know where everything is, and so it's much easier. I mentioned before that I would normally use my plastic pry bars, but this small screwdriver and a small metal pry bar is all that I had, and so I'm being extra careful not to damage the panel. I pop off the panels and remove the connectors for all the cabin lighting. And then I remove all the bolts, screws, and clips.
Okay, here's a DVD player right here. I'll just disconnect this one here, and that'll let us pull down the whole thing.
This car happens to have a very large top panel. I've seen that in most newer cars, the top panel where the DVD player is located is much smaller, which would make this job much easier.
So this is the DVD unit. You have to pull it out from up top. You can't pull it down through. So I disconnected the power. I'm not actually even sure what that is, honestly. Oh, this is the HDMI. Okay, yeah, so this is the HDMI that connects it back to the back of the car. And then these are the power pieces that come from the car itself. So we'll disconnect both of these. And then we just need to get a Torx screwdriver to disconnect these. Or you pull it down. There's actually some screws on the inside of the, but that's fine. I'll just climb up underneath here and get that unscrewed. And then once that's done, we'll take this top off and pull it out.
I didn't get all the bolts out from the bottom of the DVD player because of the awkward angle, so I'll take them out now. It would have been better to take them off when the roof panel was still up.
And here is the new unit. I say new, but it's not really new. It's old.
To put it all back together, you just work backwards, completing each step in reverse.
All right, now that I've got the DVD player installed, I've got all 2 screws and 2 bolts in. All I need to do is just plug in the different parts. And then put it back up. Okay. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. All right. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Okay. Looks promising.
Now what?
Select mode. Go to disk.
We did it!
All right. Success.
So we did it. We were able to drive across country and travel home in peace. The total cost of my repair was minimal. I paid a little over $50 to buy the new screen. It took a few hours to go to the junkyard and to pull the part, and about an hour to put in the new one. If I were to try to take this to someone to have them fix it, it easily could have cost hundreds of dollars or maybe over $1,000 to get done. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And be sure to check out some of my other videos. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.